late tonight, but lots of challenges this week. Hopefully, most of us are past all the struggles of the new moon and we're well into that drive towards creating our dreams. So, tonight's talk, I wanted to talk about faith and taking action and letting resentment go. So, redirecting our anger, things like that. So, a lot of people, I'm going to talk a little bit about getting in touch with our emotions. Emotions are literally energy in motion. They are the tools of spiritual communication. When you are trying to align your life to how you're designed, you very much need to learn how to identify your emotions and what they are telling you. So the first one I want to work with is anger. Anger has been coming up for a few clients of mine this week. And anger is an interesting thing because we feel it. And the first thing when we feel it, especially if we're feeling it in a direction towards somebody, we need to take a step back and go, am I really upset with who I am directing this towards? Or is this a convenient place for me to be placing my anger? A lot of the times we place anger where it's convenient instead of where its actual message is coming from. I will unpack that in just a second. In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it. Support my work. Thank you all for joining me. Jennifer Quick at Soul Clarity Coaching. Everything to do with the Akashic Records and your aligning your life to your soul design. So, anger. So what happens? We get feelings of anger and we'll drive anger towards something or someone. And the first thing we need to do is take a step back and go, am I actually angry at that person or that action or whatever it is? Or is it the convenient place for me to direct our anger? Anger is an emotion that scares many of us. But I'm here to tell you, anger is not a bad thing. Anger is only bad by the reaction that we have to it. How we manage anger can be either toxic or motivational. Okay? But anger itself is simply information coming to us telling us that a boundary has been crossed, a action has been taken that is very much out of alignment with who we are and what we should be doing and how our lives need to be unfolding. So whatever you're angry at, take a step back. And I'll tell you what happens with this. There are certain people in our lives, and it's easier to be angry at them than it is to be at the actual source, because the source is usually a lot more personal, a lot more intimately related to our own needs and actions and identity. And so therefore it's easier to say it's that person's fault, that action's fault. So for instance, it is easier to be mad at your mother than it is to be mad at yourself or your spouse or your children. It's a real good one. It's easier to be mad at your spouse than it is to be mad and I face the fear that you have in moving forward in your life. It's angry to be placing blame on a spouse that's you can always holding me back than it is to say I'm holding myself back. It's much easier to blame them than it is to blame yourself. So look at where you are avoiding responsibility. Look at what it is that you don't want to face. What are you afraid of? When you feel anger, what boundary has been crossed? What are you ignoring? And what are you afraid of doing or facing or acknowledging? So those are usually the main points. There is another one, which is an interesting one that came up this week with one of my clients, is they were, first of all, they were placing blame where it didn't belong because they didn't want to face it in a relationship. And it wasn't actually that they were mad at their spouse. What they were mad at was, it wasn't even mad, it was more frustration at the amount of twisting and turning and avoidance and uncomfortableness that their spouse was going through before he actually had the breakthrough point where he addressed whatever issue was surfacing with him. And so that can often happen, especially if we're in a very soul connected relationship. So if you're in a soul connected relationship and your spouse is not facing a family issue, a childhood trauma that's causing an effect in your life now, maybe they're not, maybe they've got fears to face, and so they're not stepping up into the parental role that you want them to, or they're not stepping up into placing boundaries with their own family, or maybe they're just really avoiding um, something in work related, or you can, as your spouse, you can see it, but also as their spouse, you're lying down next to them every night. Hopefully you have that kind of relationship, but you are so intimately connected that the energies they are dealing with are affecting your energies. And sometimes when you're closely bonded with another person, there, we all get messy before we have a healing breakthrough. That's what happens. We get out of beat, we get out of rhythm, we get out of character, we turn ourselves into turmoil. The more deeper rooted the wound, more deeper rooted the healing that needs to take place, the more uncomfortable we'll usually drive ourselves before we actually have the breakthrough healing point. It is ugliest. Anybody who has been doing spiritual work really understands the ugliness that can come before the breakthrough. Where there's often the laugh about how, you get to lying on the floor in the fetal position, I can't take anymore. And then all of a sudden, the last tear is shed that you can possibly shed. And you're like, oh, I get it now. And you have that breakthrough moment. And it's like, wow, why did I put myself through so much pain and anguish when really it wasn't as big a deal, or it was just what I needed to do. And when we watch someone we love go through that, we can actually become angry and frustrated at them for taking themselves so far into so much trauma before they break through. But we don't want to be angry at our spouse because we understand that painful breakthrough point. And so we direct the anger somewhere else where it's easier to direct the anger. Usually it's a relative, like a sibling or a parent, or it's we can direct it towards work, a coworker, somebody who it's more convenient to be mad at, where you don't really have to interact with them, or you don't really care if they are upset by you being angry, or it's more clear cut. You can say, well, this person did this will often even drag up things from our past. 10 years ago somebody did something that upset us. Well, today I'm going to be angry at it. I'm going to direct my anger there because I don't want to put my anger where in this other direction. So that's some of the theme that has really come up for me this week and with my clients. Another one is resentment. It kind of goes with that anger as well. Resentment is really comes from a place where you're blaming somebody else for what you didn't do, and you're not wanting to face it. So you have resentment. They did something wrong that caused me to have to deal with this problem. Well, that doesn't happen. We are responsible for our own actions, our own choices, as well as the results of those choices. We cannot blame somebody else. So if you have resentment towards somebody, you really need to start having that reflective mirror look upon yourself as to what is it that you are regretting having done or not do. Okay. And now, both with resentment and with anger, they are seen as very negative emotions, but again, they are telling us information about ourselves. They are telling us where our fears are. They are telling us where we're not standing in our power. They are telling us where we're not taking action. And so it's very communicative, but they are also, resentment and anger can also be used as motivation. They can be extremely motivating. I mean, the joke part of it is, which is very true, a lot of people will recognize this, that the house gets clean when you get angry. Okay, there used to be a joke. I haven't heard it for many, many years, but I do remember it from a long time ago that your house is cleanest when you're maddest at your spouse, right? So it used to be the joke to the husbands: if you come home to a clean house, look out, there's trouble. And again, that's so old and so chauvinistic back in those days, but it was an old joke, and there is truth to it. When we get angry, we have a tendency to really dig in and clean and get that aggression out. But we can also direct that, just as we direct it into doing work in our home to get it clean, we can use it to motivate us towards our goals, towards making changes in our life, breaking habits and starting new habits, facing fears and going outside of our comfort zone. Those can all be motivated by anger. And it's okay. Again, anger, the emotion of anger is not bad. It's what we do with it and the result of our actions on it that can create a positive or a negative. So if you have anger, if you have resentment, take the reflection back. What am I not wanting to face about myself? Am I projecting it in appropriately to something that's not the issue, something convenient? And then can I use it to motivate myself? And so then my next thing I wanted to talk about was taking action. We have been through a real roller coaster the last few months, well, the last few years, but especially there's been a lot of solar flares, and particularly we've been in a very chaotic couple of months, a lot of emotions coming to the surface, a lot of endings and beginnings, and past hurts rising up that needed to be dealt with, old karma that needed to be cleared out. Like, there's been a lot with all the solar flares, the lunar eclipses, and the solar eclipse, and the new moons, and all of that's been going on. We have had a huge amount of pressure going on with us, and it is time. A lot of that is clearing out, moving behind us, and it is really time to stop and look at where we need to take action in our life, where we need to step out of our comfort zone. We need to take action. Remember, when we want to take action, we want to take action in the vibration of what we want to create in our lives. So this is what we mean by aligned action. So remember, when you're manifesting, you want to identify the vibration that you are as the person who has achieved the manifestation. And then you want to find ways in your life to hold that vibration. And that's what's going to draw you towards taking the actions that are going to create the manifestation. It's going to draw you towards that manifestation. So taking action, sometimes it's just stepping out of your comfort zone. Remember, you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to create something new. That's just a fact, because if what you wanted to manifest was already in alignment with you, you would have it. Right? If it was already aligned to your comfort zone, you would already be living it. So the very fact that you don't have it means that your comfort zone has to change, which means you have to take action outside of your comfort zone. Well, right now, it is a big time to take that vibrationally aligned action toward, so that's a big point right now I wanted to bring up. Use that anger, use that resentment to take vibrationally aligned action in your life. Do something new. Spring is so full of energy. The sun has been very good where I live. Take action. Be your own hero. Be your own leader. Be the vibration of what it is that you want to be living. All right, so take action. And then finally, I'm going to sum this whole little video up with have faith. This is one of the hardest ones. It is kind of a message that is getting lost. Faith has always been, for me anyhow, it was always associated with religion. And modern spirituality moves away from religion. Religion is ruled by a structure meant to control people and suppress the people. Spirituality is about connecting with source, connecting with the divine, right? Something greater than ourselves, divine. So whatever your beliefs in spirituality are, that's what it's actually about. But we still need to have faith, right? Religion does have a lot of good things to teach us, and faith is probably the most important lesson to have. We need to believe. We not just believe, but we need to trust. Faith is a combination of belief and trust. And so we have to trust in the universe, trust in the greater part of ourselves, that connection to divine source. We have to have faith that it's going to work for us. So if we use our anger, our resentment to provide motivation to take action in vibrational alignment to what we want to manifest, and then have faith in the process that it's going to happen. Have faith in the divine source and the laws of the universe. They're going to happen. I have been seeing this slowly unfold in my life because I've been trying some really big manifestations for myself, big ones that are like, and when I say mean big, I don't mean like castle big. I mean like I'm here and it's way over there. There's a big amount of change that has to happen to me in order for me to align with what it is that I want to manifest. And so it's not that the item is such big, it's just the transition that I have to go through to become this new vibration is very big. And as I'm going through that, you have to have faith that the laws of the universe are working. And the more your vibration tunes itself to align with the manifestation, the more opportunities, the more things shift to align you. And right now I'm seeing so many little points and shifts. And I'll tell you, it is really, really, really easy to not acknowledge those little shifts of vibration. And it's also really easy to lose faith in the process. So to keep your faith, it is really good to stop and acknowledge the transition as you go. So how does this work? So when so the vibration that I want to embody in order to have what I want to manifest, that vibration is very different than what my normal vibration has been. And so there are moments that I can feel that vibration, and then there's a lot of moments where I lose that vibration. But what helps keep the faith is when you notice little shifts happen. So opportunities. So for myself, opportunities started unveiling, and I have to stop and look at it and I go, okay, oh, I ended up meeting somebody who directed me to connect with somebody else who I ended up getting into a webinar with and listening to them. And oh my gosh, they gave me answers that allowed me to streamline and simplify what I was doing and progressed me forward. And I have to acknowledge, like, hey, thanks, universe, for clearing that path for me. Yay, that's another step closer. That's another level up in my vibration. So I'm not holding that vibration all the time of what I'm wanting to manifest, but it's an acknowledgement that I am moving that vibration. I'm more often getting there. Then another opportunity presented itself, and there was about 3 opportunities that presented themselves, and I kind of went, oh, what am I supposed to do? And I went, okay, universe, which one is it? And miraculously, the other 2 that weren't aligned fell away, and I decided on the one. It turned out it was the most expensive of the 3 for me to engage with, but I went and checked out the other 2 just because I knew people that chose the other 2 opportunities, and I went and checked out with them. And hopefully they're not listening to this, but I was really glad I didn't make those choices because they didn't come together at the level in alignment with the vibration that I was at. They weren't going to be right for me. And it was very obvious that they weren't right for me. So that was really, really good. I've had numerous ones of those. I had another. I was disappointed because somebody I knew kind of took a leap and made some. I had a few business friends that made some changes, and I was kind of like, hey, that would have been along my ballpark. Why was there no, invitation for me to help out with this? And then again, having faith, because as time unfolded, I realized how it would have put me in a direction that was not that opportunity. It would have been good, but it would not have put me closer to what my manifesting goal is. So I hope I'm not too vague in what it is, because I don't really want to talk openly about it. It's part of my faith. I want to hold my faith to me. In my manifestation as to what I want, that vibration. I don't want to totally explain what it is, but I hope I got across to you how important it is to have faith that the universe is delivering, and to acknowledge. It helps build your strength of faith when you acknowledge those little fine tuning that happens, that is slowly moving you in the direction of your manifestation. The more you acknowledge it, the more faith you have, the faster it comes to you. Okay. So those are the things I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to leave you guys with that. I'll just do a quick recap here. So resentment and anger. Take a step back, reflect within. What are you really angry about? What are you really resentful of that? Or is there a different message that's a little more personal about you and your path? And then you take that energy, take those emotions, that energy of emotion, energy and motion of anger and resentment, and direct it towards motivating yourself and taking action in vibrational alignment to what you want to manifest, and then acknowledge how the universe is slowly moving and changing and shifting things. Acknowledge all those little steps to keep your faith. In the end, really have faith. So hold that vibrational alignment to what you want to manifest, and have faith in the universe delivering it. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed my little video. Love you all. Please subscribe, like this video, and share it. Have a fantastic week. See you later.